your goals long term?
I just wanted to help kids. I went through the ringer, and I just enjoyed teaching. I really enjoyed teaching. This is a job that a lot of people, when they retire, say, I can't wait to get out. I get so many days left. I enjoyed the whole time, enjoyed the administration part of it. But I just enjoyed the camaraderie you make with that's the biggest thing. And I've got people coming up now. You remember me, Coach? And I taught driver's ed 17 years, million years ago, and they got white hair now. And, I saw when they were 16 and say, come on, man, I don't know who it is.
You used to teach driver's ed.
17 years.
Are you still available? I have a 15-year-old son who's getting close. And I know he's going to need a little tutelage, and he's probably not going to get it from Mom or me, so we might look you up. Take care of you.
No charge.
Nah, we'll make it good. What do you want to go see? A ball game, a concert? You want a catered dinner? What do you want? We'll make it happen.
Just have Dad take fruit tranquilizers because he'll be okay. I could sit up here all night and talk about driver's ed stories, but you don't want to hear those.
I don't want to hear those now. God, no, I don't want to hear those now. So how long do you think you want to kick it around?
I'm going year by year.
Year to year, and day to day, like we all are. Huh?
Exactly. My doctor told me when I retired at Perry, I was going 85 hours a week in that AD's job. And he said, don't you dare go, retire and go lay on a couch because your body will go down. He didn't tell me to coach 2 varsity sports, but then I went into college coaching too for 8 years. So it keeps you going, keeps you young.
Yeah. That's boy, you've had a career.
It's been.
You ever get a chance to, 5 minutes to yourself and say, wow, this was a good run.
Journey.
You're still running, but man, it's been a nice run.
It's been a nice run, and God willing, I've been healthy and knock on wood there. I get a week off. First week of July and the last week of July before 2-a-days, and in November, December, and January, before baseball starts. So I've been programmed all my life, but it's a life I love.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming over. We really appreciate it. It was great seeing you. We're going to be we'll be romping around down there at Sandy Valley. Get down there and do a couple games this year, and best of luck to the whole Gamble family, and keep doing your thing, okay?
Thanks, my man. Great seeing you guys.
Always good to see you. Frank Gamble here joining us here tonight. And again, Sam Berkwood and TJ Downing. Hello, everybody. We are live here at the St. Haralambos Church. It's the 2022 Stark County High School football preview. We're going to be talking to some other coaches. I think they got around close to 20 for the panel tonight. I think most will be here. Some have had some practice issues. The coaches may get here a little bit later than normal, but they'll be here. The likes of Jeff Lindesmith from Canton Central Catholic, Brian Baum from Hoover, Nate Moore of Massillon, Antonio Hall from McKinley, Zach Slates from Perry. We were talking a little Perry football. Scott Garcia, Coach G, going to be here tonight.
Coach G will be in the house.
Always look forward to that. So I know Dan DeGeorge is getting set to join us here.
It's funny to see the pecking order, how guys kind of trickle in. You got
right?
you got a group of coaches like Coach DeGeorge. They get there right on time. Back when Coach Wake was still there at Perry, I think he was there like maybe 6:55, like 5 minutes before the dinner started.
Yep. And remember Keith Wakefield's old line. Hurry up, so I got to get to bed. You want to get the hell out of here, Coach. Good to see you. How's your summer been going? And man, it's time to spin the football around a little bit, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, good to see you guys. Everything's going well. Working hard at practice and getting a little bit better each day.
Read a couple articles the last couple of weeks and it seems like the theme is
stop reading the articles.
Okay.
That's what I tell my kids and my parents. But go ahead.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't read the whole articles, but it's like
Neither did I.
I did a Cliff Note version. But the vibe that I got from it was, all right, it's go time. We're ready to take that step, ready to knock that door in a little bit, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We need to. We've been close for far too long in the past couple of years. We're tired of being close, and that falls on our shoulders. So we're asking a little bit more of the kids, raising our expectations, and hopefully that makes us a much better football team and more productive football teams.
I think the one thing that stuck out to me last year was your size up front. You had some big boys. I believe you graduated Anderson. He's gone. We just saw him, got a chance to cover him in the East-West All-Star game. Played great. A lot of your late guys showed up, man. Sure. Logan at the linebacker spot. He was sideline to sideline. But talk about the guys in the trenches, Jeff, coming back. Is Jack McAvenue back?
Yes.
He's a big boy. He's a guy that you're probably going to count on to be a senior leader, and I know you also named your captains recently.
Yeah, so we have 4 offensive linemen back. 2 of them have been 2-year starters, so we're really, really excited about that. Starts up front. For us to be successful in our league and how tough it is, we have to be able to run the football, and we're going to get back to doing that a little bit more. We're playing a little bit more with the tight end and the fullback, and I love it because that's what I would do all the time if I could. So yeah, and we have a handful of guys back on defense as well. We have 22 seniors out this year, which is a great group. So really good leaders. But yeah, as far as what they've been writing, I just told the kids today, we have the potential, but we're not even close yet, and we can't be satisfied. And so we need to stay healthy, need the ball bounce our way a few times, but looking forward to it for sure.
You can't go wrong when you got 4 offensive linemen coming back.
No.
It's a
That's
good
as good as
position
having
to
a
be in.
returning QB almost. You know what I mean?
Hey, and what's even better than that, you got Matthew Solberger running behind him.
Yeah.
He's a heck of a back.
He is. He's a tough kid and runs hard and very strong as well. He's one of our captains.
You know, coaches, you guys work so doggone hard. You prepare, you study, you try to get the kids in the best possible position. And I know you're working with 15 through 18-year-olds. I get it. But at some point, don't you want to say, let it all go right for us this year? Let us stay healthy. Let's get a couple bounces our way. Let's have one of those years to where maybe 1 or 2 or 3 of those plays or calls or bounces or scores or decisions not only leads you to trying to win a Federal League championship, but win a couple games after that and really start to get this thing rolling again. Because, gosh, I think you guys deserve a couple breaks. I mean, you had injuries and not just pinky bruises. You guys have had torn things and shredded things. It's time for the Blue Streaks to have a little luck, don't you think?
Well, hey, I agree with you there, but no excuses on our end. I mean, we were damn close last year in 3 of our 4 league games, lost at the last second, but that's our fault. That falls on my shoulders as head coach and my coaching staff and our players, and that was something we really talked a lot about in the offseason, just finding ways. The harder we work, the luckier we'll get, and everybody knows that, and everyone says that, but it's true. So we're hoping it does go our way for sure.
I saw last year, to me, regular season game of the year, it was the game between you guys and Jackson. I saw so much fight from both sides of the ball, from both teams. And it was one of those games where it's like you just didn't want it to end. You didn't want somebody to lose. We know how it always has to end. But You know what? The Federal League, as you've seen it, as you've coached through it, the strength is there. I think what Green was able to accomplish last year, it gave it a shot in the arm. Sure. With you guys coming back with a strong team, I think Glen Oak's in a different position now with Coach Garcia. This is shaping up to be one of the strongest seasons the Federal League's seen in a long time.
Oh, I agree with you. And I tell people all over that the Federal League, no matter what years, is probably one of the better leagues in the state of Ohio. Yep. Just how many good coaches you have, what great assistant coaches you have as well. Then you have quality kids playing high school football. So, yeah, it'll be a dogfight every Friday night for sure.
You obviously you guys pay attention to college football, I'm sure. You see all the NIL stuff going on and the conferences being revamped. And heck, we've seen a lot of conference shifting in high school sports here lately with different counties and areas and teams dropping divisions and things. Mm-hmm. Do you think things will stay the way they are around here for quite a while, or could there be some changes coming down the road?
Yeah, everyone's talking about it and what's going on in college football. I'm afraid might end up having a negative effect on high school, but I hope nothing changes. I hope we continue to do what we're doing here in Stark County, and it's the place to be football-wise, to coach. But, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of changes that are going on, and I just told my kids the other day that they got a handful that want to play at the next level, and that's becoming even harder now because some of your big schools are looking at transfer kids first rather than kids in high school. So it's sort of pushing everyone back a little bit, and that part's unfortunate, but at the end of the day, you just got to play good football.
Dan DeGeorge is our guest, head football coach of the Lake Blue Streaks here on Stark Media. Sam Berkman and TJ Downing live at St. Haralambos Church. How many of these have you been at?
I'm going to say this is my 10th as head coach. I know Derb sent me 1 or 2 times when I was an assistant coach.
You remember?
That's that practice gone late routine right there, Coach. I'm going to need you to go step in for me.
I think there were a couple years where Wakey purposely scheduled his scrimmage on this night as well, and I used to tease him about that. He's smarter than I was, but Coach Derb actually stopped out to our practice today, which was awesome, and talked to the kids. So he still comes around. I continue to try to talk him into coaching freshman football for me, but he says no every time.
Bite yet, huh? So do you remember the first time you came here as a head coach? What was, or even when you came in for Coach Derb's, a little nervous at all the first time in front of the group, or how did you approach all that?
Sure, it's a little overwhelming when you're not sure what you're walking into, but coaching for 25 years at Lake and knowing so many of these guys, not only the head coaches but the assistant coaches and the staffs, it's really a brotherhood, and the camaraderie's pretty cool. We don't like each other on Friday nights when we're playing, for sure. But the rest of the year, I think all the guys get along really well and help each other out.
So a lot of schools in Ohio have slogans. I know you guys have had rock 'em for forever. Anything new this year? Hashtag something Blue Streaks, or the guys come up with anything new or different?
No, I mean we got a handful of goals that we have up in the locker room that we're just keeping amongst ourselves right now. But other than that, we're just going to continue to grind and play good hard football. And like I said, the harder we work, the luckier we will get eventually.
All right, we will see you, I believe, Maple Heights in week 2. We will be there.
Looking forward to that, man. I was
it.
really looking forward to that last year. I felt, that's a huge matchup for you guys. That's a early one that you can really kind of gauge your team on. I think it's going to be the same way. We just got a chance at the Kemp Thorne Kickoff Classic to see Maple Heights. We know that they got a team. They won the whole 7-on-7 tournament. Yeah. So I'm excited for it, man.
Some athletes. That'll be a tough one.
I know season's here, man. You get that itch, and it's ready to go.
That's right.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate
Fill
it.
up at that buffet, Coach. Good to see you.
Coach, thanks, man.
Coach Dan DeGeorge of the Lake Blue Streaks. They're getting ready to roll here in 2020. And if you've been following some of the stories and quotes and things around the area media outlets, this could be maybe a good year for the Blue Streaks. All right, one of my all-time favorites. I'm still getting used to the navy blue. Orange and black is when we kind of cultivated our relationship when Coach Sarbaugh was doing his thing over at Hoover, kicking and stopping up to the press box, and he did everything. He'd come up and, hey, can I get you a drink? You want pizza? Need a score? I mean, what's the line? No, I'm kidding. Man, good to see you. How you doing?
Good. I'm good. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
It's exciting times, right? High school football in Stark County starting up again.
Earlier
Nothing quite
and earlier,
like it.
right?
Oh, my gosh. I was telling someone, I still remember, I think it was TJ. TJ spoke at our father's son, but I still remember as a water boy, you'd go to the Hall of Fame game Sunday, and then two-a-days started Monday. And I think when I was younger, the first 2 games, we weren't even in school. You know, people didn't go back until after Labor Day, and then you had 14 weeks of playoffs. Now you got 16, and things are different now.
They are. Do you like them differently, or?
It's funny. Me and Coach Hurt.
I was going to say I don't. I don't like it, but I'm just
as
a media
coach, guy. I don't really like we had 1 week of two-a-days. Yeah, I mean, this week we scrimmaged Thursday. We did our community night last night. I wish we had an extra week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a traditionalist. I remember when we went from 4 to 8 teams, and the first 4 got to host playoff games in '99, and just how hard it is to make the playoffs.
Yep.
But at the same time, I now see where 16 teams get in, and I talk to a lot of coaches at the North-South game, and they're like, now kids that just want to play football get that opportunity to experience a playoff game, So I see both sides of it.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm at. I really don't. I go back and forth. I miss that honor of getting in, but it's still not baseball and basketball where everybody makes the tournament.
Yeah.
So things are changing. I'm a traditionalist.
Go ahead, say what you want. Say how you feel. Stark Media exclusive. Coach Sarbaugh. He hates it.
Yes.
It's just different.
It is. I'm old enough to remember when they let, which was kind of ridiculous, but when they let 2 in.
And when they started in 1972, you had 3 divisions
Yeah.
and 4 teams per
AA,
division.
AAA, that was it.
12 teams in the state of Ohio made it. And then in 84, you go to 2. And then 92, 93, they went to 4. And then 99, they went to 8, where you got the host.
Yeah.
And 8 just seems perfect.
That's good,
to me.
right?
I
thought so.
3 games, you win the region, you're in the state semis, you get the host in the first round. And the other thing I miss, I tell people growing up, Todd Henny teaches at Hoover with my dad, or did. My dad's retired. So D1 was always Saturday. So you're going to the Hoover playoff game. Friday, you're going to Louisville.
Absolutely.
And then you're going to Fawcett Friday night, and Fawcett's not Fawcett, and Central and Paul Brown don't host anymore, but you were going to 2 playoff games now.
Yep.
All the playoff games, the first 2 rounds are on Friday night.
It's different.
Things aren't going to be how they were. I wish the state finals were still at Paul Brown and Fawcett, but that's never coming back. It's just, I don't know. I'm an old man soul. That's what everyone tells me.
I appreciate you more and more every day because of that.
I miss the old days, but they're just not coming back, obviously.
Well, we can speak it into existence, but it's probably not going to happen.
I told the kids we're scrimmaging on grass tomorrow. Football was meant to be played really good, well-kept grass.
Yeah.
was. But there's no more mud pools week 10. Jackson Hoover, like that game. What I grew up with is gone.
It's gone.
I talked to the kids and they're looking at me like, "What? Football was played on grass?"
Yeah, right. Coach A.J. Solberger is with us of the Fairless Falcons. Sam Berkman teaching live on Stark Media here at the high school football preview. Hey, real quick, got to take care of the business.
Hot sheet.
Want to thank our good friends, C.J. Vallis and Associates, C.H. Vallis, Kitchman's Fresh Market at Malvern and Minerva. Simon Says Promotion, St. Haralambos Greek Orthodox Church, and of course the Krassas Event Center, and of course the Spirit of Stark, right next to the Massillon Rec Center. All right, big fella, fire away.
We need highlights here, right? So we got the opportunity down there at the Amish barn. Had a great meal. Got a chance to talk to your guys, father-son dinner. Any feedback? Anything that the famous kid down there, the famous center with the mullet, Dom Emer, anything that he brought into practice and carried over or took away from that? I knew it had to be a message about toughness, but it also had so much to do with the success that you guys had last year. First time in 42 years that you guys got a piece of the championship. But to challenge them that it's not good enough just to share it. It's another thing to win it outright and be sole owners of it.
Yeah, your message was outstanding, TJ. I think I texted you with 10 things. Obviously, it started raining, so I didn't have my notepad, so I was trying to type things in my phone. But you talked about what a dad should be, and you talked about hard work and just the lineman perspective. Like, not to bring up a bad memory, but your block against Texas. You said if I hold on for a split second longer, we might win that game and go to the national championship. And don't just be satisfied with being a co-champion. Be a outright champion. And talking about the punter in the spring game, how he lost his career, and it's a dangerous game, and hard work and film. And, I told the kids, TJ literally watched probably 25 games before that Michigan-Ohio State game. And not once did Sean Crable line up in the A-gap, but there, play one against Michigan in the biggest game of your career. There he is. Like, you could never be well enough prepared. And, I tell people all the time, and my dad took me to a couple practices when I was younger to realize how fortunate I was to be at Hoover. And then you come to Fairless, and as the head coach, I'm the equipment manager. I'm washing the jerseys. You're not in the big stadiums, but football still matters. It's just as important there as it is at Hoover and Massillon and McKinley. So when people like you come down and you take an interest and you know what's going on, not that I took it for granted at Hoover, but our Fairless kids just relish it. When people come down, it's like, wow, these people know who we are. They care about us. Like, it's a different feel. And I wish everyone would get that opportunity to see small football, because it's still high school football. Yeah, it's not 20,000 in the stands, but our kids care, our parents care, our students care. We put in just as much time, and it's a different feel, but it's a really cool. I mean, you were at Manchester last year.
I'm gonna tell you what right now, and I'm not just saying this. Yeah, you know me.
Yeah,
I cannot remember having more of a ball broadcasting a regular season game. I don't care what division. I don't care seating capacity. I don't care if there was a horse blowing fire on top of the scoreboard. I had an absolute ball that night. The crowd, the electricity, the pureness of high school football. You mentioned just. Man,
and that's what I think it is.
Blown away.
Down at our level, it's more pure. It's different.
It's different.
It's what it used to be, like when I grew up, almost in the 90s and early 2000s.
We had so much fun, and I know we came back later to do a playoff game. I know you've been down to Fairless, and of course the Ring of Fire tops it off at the end.
I might have told you, Sam, like my dad's coaching for me again. He just retired, so 37 and a half years in the classroom. I think this is year 39 of coaching football. And he has told the kids, he said it at the banquet, he's told multiple people through the years at Glen Oak with Fred, or at Timpkin, or at Hoover, and he coached with Scott for a couple years, and all those runs at Hoover. The Manchester game you're talking about, he said, is one of the top 3 games he has ever coached. And we played Massillon with 20,000 at Boston, the state semis, and like these games. But that night was just, that's what high school football is all about. And both teams just left it all out on the field. It was awesome. It was
not. It was back and forth. It was drama. It was, I mean, and just when you thought there wouldn't be another big play, there was another big play. I mean, it was insane. Well, it was insane.
We scored on the hook and ladder to go up 35-28. There's 6 minutes to go. I thought we get one stop, it's over,
Uh-uh.
and they go score, and then we score, and then they scored again.
Yeah.
I mean, in 6 minutes,
Yeah,
like
it was nuts.
it was. Hats
was
off
nuts.
to both teams. It was awesome.
So
Yeah.
I completely set you up because we had Frank Gamble come in here. And how random is that you have your dad on your staff, Brian's got his dad on his staff. You guys are squaring off in a week from tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I totally set you up. I said, listen, Frank, I'm going to need you guys to make sure that you walk a linebacker up in the A gap between Dom Emer and right guard on the first play of the game and totally screw up AJ, man. He's going to be sitting there like,
Oh, look at
TJ, you
TJ,
son of a
you
gun.
son of a gun.
You
Judas
son of a-
Priest.
yeah.
And again, thank you for having me down here. Tell me again who the gentleman, I believe you had Ron Blackledge the year before that, but the
Yeah.
other guys you had, I mean, it was an impressive list.
So I'll kind of give the history. So when Coach Hertler Jr. started at Garraway, Hertler Sr. would go down every Wednesday and they would have dinner. Like that was he's going to drive from North Canton down. So then it turned into father-son dinner. So Hertler took it to Hoover. And I remember I was 6 or 7 and that was the only night I got to miss youth football practice, and you get a good meal and you get to sit around the Hoover coaches and hear stories and you feel like you're a part of it when you're a little water boy. And that was just always one of my favorite nights of the year. So I said, if I ever become a head coach, I'm going to continue that. So my first year in 2018, Larry Karras came down. In 29, it was awesome. I texted him. I said, hey, I send LK this long text like da. And he goes, like literally sends back, I'll be there. LK. Like that's it. Like no details. Like I'll be there. 2019, we had JD Graham, who's really good friends with Coach
Oh
Hertler.
my gosh,
Yes.
the Newark Catholic.
Yes.
I love Coach Graham.
He's phenomenal.
My uncle Larry, who has since passed quite a few years ago, he was the head scout for Newark Catholic for JD for decades.
Yeah.
I grew up, if I wasn't at Fawcett growing up, I was down in Licking County watching the Green Wave.
Yeah.
I had two cousins go through, Rod and Todd Wilder, and they played all every year.
So him and
They played every
Hertler
year.
are like really tight.
Yeah.
And he spoke at Hertler's father's son. Hertler would bring him in for he spoke before the Massillon playoff game. We won in 08. He was always on our sidelines. But he comes in, he's in this suit, prim and proper, and the Fairless people don't know who he is. Then I read his bio, and you can just see jaws drop.
Yeah.
2020 was supposed to be Ron Blackledge. We had COVID. So 2021 was Coach Blackledge, who he brought his Indianapolis Colts playbook from like 95.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it was his stories were awesome. And then we had TJ this year. So that's something I love giving back to our kids with the connections I've made through my dad and Coach Hertler and others, trying to get a really good speaker to come down and, just give them something they can hang their hat on and, hopefully help them as they continue through life.
I want you to know the big former Buckeye lineman just came back with 2 beverages. One was a water, one was not. The water got placed in front of me.
And I have a Pepsi.
And you have a Pepsi. So somebody just broke the code over here, and he's going all Esber beverage on us. But that's okay, because we're out here.
Shout out our
fun.
friends at Esber Beverage.
That's right. Doggone it. You better believe it. Well, I wanted to ask one more thing before we go. Spider's in the house.
Yeah.
Always good to see. We're going to keep you
Spider
guys on
still
at the same
gives me a
time.
hard time. I still remember when I was a junior and a senior, Coach Spider Miller, back when we're talking about the old days when the Independent had 3 or 4 writers and Coach Spider put in the paper, Hoover's got a really nice tight end. I was all excited. Like, no one ever talks about Hoover's tight end. My dad, he's just being nice because he likes you. He don't mean
Don't read
that.
the
I was all
clippings.
excited. Like, yeah, they've got Eric Howard and Brett Wolodzewski. They've got a nice tight end too. Now he coach's kid. I've always remembered that though. Spider's always been great to me.
Yeah.
He's
So-
walking the room talking.
Yeah.
You know how my dad is.
Yeah. Coach Spider, put those cans on. Not the one in your hand.
Hey,
Good. How are you?
it's
Good to see
not
you.
as bad as one of my first Coach Spider Miller stories. When I showed up to his house, I was coming over to take his daughter out on a date, and I think he was asking me to break down game film
Holy
in the living room
smokes.
before I took her to the movies. I said, "Oh man, this is going the wrong direction."
Well, where were
How'd
you?
you let
Were
that
you at
happen?
Glen Oak and he was at McKinley?
Yeah,
Had you guys already played each other then?
yeah, I believe so.
Who
What's so funny
who
about
won?
Hell, I don't remember what happened yesterday, let alone back then.
Well, this is
Back
going
when
to go off the
Fawcett
rails
was
quick.
Fawcett, and you played Glen Oak Friday and Timpkins Saturday afternoon and McKinley
That's
Saturday
right.
night.
That's
You
how
had
we
the,
that's
you had
how
the
we
square
live.
in the middle, and you ripped it off, and
That's
every team
right.
had a
The
logo.
Velcro
right.
vote.
Yeah. See, I'm
That's
an old
right.
soul. I remember.
See, you're one of the few that remember that.
That's
Well,
that's,
Glen
that's
Oaks
a
is
torn
still at their
Achilles waiting to
stadium.
happen. That's a torn ACL waiting to happen, man.
Oh, jeez.
Spider, so good to see you. How are
Nice
you?
to see you. I'm great.
Wow,
I'm great.
this-
Thank you.
Crazy times for all of us, but we're getting ready for football again. Thanks for coming over.
Thanks for
man.
having me on,
see
Sammy
you
and
soon.
TJ. Yep.
You bet.
Thank you.
So, man, what gets the blood going for you still after you've been at this a long time at a very high level, work with thousands of kids, thousands of practices, 2-a-days, games, speeches, team meals. I mean, man alive.
You know,
What a run.
When you love doing something, you keep doing it. You know, and I love teaching and I love coaching. I mean, I teach 6 classes at East Canton and I coach football, but the atmosphere, the people there are wonderful at East Canton. You know, and the thing that brings you back are the kids, obviously, trying to be a part of their life and teach them life lessons, and also the coaches. I mean, the coaching office, you know, everywhere I've been, you know, it's been one thing or the other, but the coaches have done a great job, especially for me at East Canton.
Yeah, I guess we're allowed to keep talking here.
Yeah.
So, you know,
I'll keep it
you've
down.
been, you know, McKinley, Perry, East Canton. I don't care if it's D1 or if it's D100. It is about the kids. They want to learn. They want to be pushed no matter what the level is. And I got to imagine that still gives you the greatest, puts the biggest smile on your face when you execute a play. The kid does well on a test the day after a game. That's what keeps you going, right?
Oh, yeah. You know what? When you see progress and you see kids just get better, and I have seen that this year in 2 days, we've gotten better every day. And it's a great feeling that they're picking up the concept. They're trying to do the best they can in the classroom as well as outside the classroom. And like I said, you know, we're coaches, but all coaches wear different hats. And you know, we'll put our arm around you and tell you we love you, you know, and those kind of things. And the next day I might be screaming and yelling at you, but don't take it personal. But
Right.
you know, I mean, I came from the era where, you know, coaches yelled and screamed a lot at you.
And it was okay.
And it was okay. Discipline was discipline.
It worked.
Today it's 1-800 child abuse.
It worked.
You know, it's like, hey, I took my whoopings at home, but I deserved every one of them.
Right.
And, it was, and you know what? Each one was well worth everything I did.
All right, let's just cut right to the chase. You remember the first time what'd you do?
Well,
Why'd you get a whooping?
I didn't get a whooping from my dad. My first one was in kindergarten at Louisville Elementary.
Kindergarten.
Principal said, "Do not pop your ice cream bag that comes off the end, you know." And pop. Oh, I popped it. He whacked me. I got whacked at home. So that was the.
So you were 5 years old. You were already acting up.
Oh,
I guess this should be a surprise.
I wasn't acting up. I was just being
me. Being you. Just being you. Holy cow.
We all know, and it's obviously made its way through the papers, everything that kind of happened throughout the offseason. We don't need to rehash it or re-talk about it. You're where you're at now because you had a lot of community support come out and really get you back. How did that feel when you're able to go home and kind of reflect on that whole situation and know that the moment something like that happens, the moment a BS situation kind of happens, you had everybody there supporting you in the community. It's got to be a great feeling, right?
Oh, it's a great feeling when you have those people in your foxhole, you know. And my wife and my youngest daughter went, and they couldn't believe the overwhelming support that we had, you know, for me, and it was wonderful, you know. And they got it right, so that's a big thing. And you know, those 3 days were a little rough for everybody.
Yeah.
But you know what? You move on. You deal with adversity every single day of your life. So you know what, and I've dealt with enough of it in my time. You know, I'm not going to sit there and dwell on a situation. I'm going to move on, see what's next, and let's go. And that's what we did.
And that's football. That's handling adversity. I try and tell kids. I was at, you know, as AJ came in, I talked to their father-son banquet and said, listen, it could happen to you in the first quarter of the first game. Might not come until week 4. Could be in the fourth quarter of week 8. You never know when adversity is going to show up at your door and show up for your team. It's how you respond to it. and I love the way that you have done that. Now, as you talk about moving on, we just had a chance to see Cody Vacco playing in his last game in the East-West All-Star game. His brother Chase, another big reason why you guys have been in the playoffs year in and year out. Man, are there any more Vaccos in the pipeline? I mean,
I wish. You know what? The thing that those kids have done, and all of our kids have bought in. They started to buy in when I first came there, and they knew I meant business.
Yeah.
And we hit the weight room. We did those things, and we're doing it. We're still doing all those things, obviously. And once they buy in with what you're doing, it makes a big difference. And they see the development of their bodies in the coaching. When I came there, I said to them, I'm going to treat this Division 7 school like a Division 1 school. We're going to have the stuff that they have, which we have as many toys on our practice field as most of them.
Yep.
We're going to treat you like that, and we're going to coach you. I'm not coaching anybody any different, whether you're Division 7 or Division 1. And neither is my coaching staff. They're great coaches.
Love that concept.
They're great coaches, I'm telling you. We're very lucky.
And you're right. I know about the toys, but the facilities, when we've had a chance to come down there, top notch.
Yep.
From the scoreboard to the press box, the field, everything you guys have done over there. And Doug Miller being a part of that,
Yeah.
You guys have done a phenomenal job.
It's not over yet, because I think they're going to build a facility behind our home stand, working on that, new locker rooms, put the weight room over there. So we'll see what happens. Anything they do is great. And they are nice. Division 7 facilities.
Oh, yeah.
And we just spent $75,000 on our weight room. And our weight room might be small, but it's as nice as anybody else's.
Yeah.
It's nice. So.
Wow. So how much longer? I think I asked this to Coach Campbell, Frank. Been around doing a lot of great things, different schools and different facilities, capacities. How long do you want to keep rolling?
You know what? I just want to keep going on as long as I can. I talked to Tom McDaniels. Mm-hmm. He said, if you're not ready to retire, don't. So, and I'm thinking, well, I know my wife's retired, but we have a 14-year-old at home that's busy with volleyball, JO volleyball, travel softball, all those things. So that makes it easier on me. And, she's been doing this, 39 years, I'm sorry. And plus before that when we dated. So She knows, just go. You don't have to, I know what's going on. So, this is going to sound silly. When that national anthem's played at any activity I'm at, whether it's our own football game, if I don't get goosebumps, it's time to get that out.
That's a sign. Yeah.
And I do. I don't know. It's game time.
It's in your blood, man.
Yeah.
It'll never leave you.
And I get that honestly through my father. And my mom was a tough cookie, but it is what it is. I don't want to retire.
Do you have a top two, or I don't want to make it one, it's too hard, but top 2 or top 3 moments for you all time of being a coach, no matter what school is? Or
it's hard to say. Obviously, getting my head shaved after the 97 state championship game, that was, winning that the way we did.
Yeah.
It's hard. I mean, when I was at Perry, we were 9-1 and played Massillon. That was a great year, great group of kids. And you know what? None of them were Division 2 or Division 3 kids. They were all Division 3 or not. Mm-hmm. We've had some great years at East Canton. I mean, everywhere I've been, I just love being a part of it, and I love being a head coach, but I love being an assistant coach too. Mm-hmm. I loved it. I didn't have all those headaches. I loved coordinating, but even when I didn't coordinate, I just loved the coach.
Yeah.
Give that to somebody else.
You love the game, man.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it.
Bottom line.
Spider, thanks for coming over. We appreciate it. Great to see you. You're looking well as ever. To get the gray East Canton shirt with the EC interlocked in blue, looking good, man. And have a great season. Stay healthy.
Hey, thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. We'll see you later.
No doubt.
Right,
enjoy your night, man.
Yep. Bye.
There he goes. Coach Spider Miller, East Canton. Always good to catch up with the legendary Spiders. We roll on here from the St. Haralambos Church. It's the 2022 high school football preview show. Sam Berkman, TJ Downing here on Stark Media. We're ready.
Hot seat.
We are ready.
Hey, you You missed it last night, partner. I know you had to boogie out.
I had to go last night.
We had a Stark Media exclusive from the guy jumping on here right now, head coach of the Massillon Tigers.
Was this
Nate
the piano
Moore.
playing or something else?
No, we did find out that he was quite a piano player. That caught me off guard a little bit.
That was pretty impressive.
It was.
I thought I was good the other day over there. I played a couple keys from the Halloween, but I mean, you were really good.
Yeah, I don't know.
Where's this stem from? Is this a
So
grade school thing?
I grew up taking piano lessons. You know, my parents thought that I wouldn't even say they thought being well-rounded was important because I didn't really grow up in a sports family. Like my parents thought that not like it isn't, but academics and the arts and those things were really important, and they are. But I kind of gravitated to sports on my own.
Yeah, that you mentioned last night, kind of the Stark Media exclusive that you're going to have Coach Currents. He'll be back for the Moeller game. You're also going to have Coach Faust. Let's get the prayer here.
And the opportunity you have given us to participate in these sports talks. Lord, watch over our players, our athletes, and keep them safe from harm as they test their skills against each other. We ask that you help the players, coaches, officials, boosters, schools, student bodies, administrators, and teachers and parents to treat each other as they want to be treated with respect, love, understanding, patience, and appreciation. With your assistance, we can together be a shining example of our true faith and ideals. And finally, give us all the wisdom to make sportsmanship the enjoyment of competition, the lessons learned from competition more important than the final score of the game. Bless this food and drink for our holy amen. The Greek would say, Kaliotis. Bon appetit.
Great job on the invocation here at St. Haralambos Church as we get ready for the coaches preview. Nate Moore from the Massillon Tigers joining us. So we get back our Stark Media exclusive last night. You're going to have Coach Currents. You're going to have Coach Faust. Both are going to be honorary captains and be there for the coin toss. That's a pretty cool deal. How much time have you gotten to spend with Coach Currents in the past?
Not much. There's been a couple graduation parties and other events where we've been at the same event, and I've got a chance to talk with him, but not a ton.
Wow. Believe it or not, Coach Currents' wife, Judy, was my nurse at Central Catholic High School for 4 years. She was my nurse. Couple of Tylenol over 4 years. That's all I ever got down there. So it worked out pretty well.
There's Judy.
I'm telling you. So Coach Faust and Coach Currents, well, we were talking to Becca the other night during the picture day, and we were talking about my first experience at a Massillon game as a child. I was 9 years old. It was 1978, and it was my first Massillon McKinley game. There, I said it right, Massillon McKinley. And I remember walking into the stadium. Chills. It was packed 2 hours before the game. Teams got standing ovations when the specialty units would come out and get ready. It was nuts. And I remember hearing Walt over the PA, and Coach Currents was coaching that afternoon against John Brideweezer from Canton McKinley. Mm-hmm. And I'll never ever forget that as long as I live. That was my first. That was my baptism for the Bulldogs and Tigers that day. And I'll never forget that. That's all. I'm glad you guys are doing it. I mean, I'm looking forward to the game anyway, to call the Moeller Massillon game. But now this is I can't wait. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's a special game. It should be the biggest game in the state of Ohio, Week 1, and the game has some history between our two schools. Mm-hmm. And I think Massillon, as much as anybody else, honors the history of not just our program, but the the rivalries that we've had and taken part in. And I thought this was a great way to honor that by having Coach Currents back and be an honorary captain for us, and invite Coach Faust to come and be an honorary captain on the Moeller side. And I think that should bring a special flavor to the game.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and I thought last night as you and your wife Becca came out there to film Tiger Talk at Stark Media Studios, the respect that I could tell that you have for that program down there, obviously spending time down there in the Cincinnati market with your coaching days at LaSalle, I could see that was kind of coming from you. But obviously you move forward and you start to understand, okay, hey, what are we going to do lining up against these guys? What's the game plan? Who do we have ready and available to go? What kind of things did you take away from your scrimmage on Saturday against Avon? And where are the Tigers at right now from your expectation level?
I mean, I think on both the offensive and defensive line, I was really happy with how we played. I was happy with how our offensive line played. I think we could have lined up and ran the ball. I don't want to say it. Well, I mean, Avon's a good team, but I think we could do what we wanted to do, running the football. And defense, really front seven. There really wasn't much for Avon between the tackles. I thought we did a really good job defending the run between the tackles. Yeah, I think that a lot of the issues that you would say that we had were some execution errors, some penalty errors, and then some things that are really in general, like we're not prepping for a scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
We spent very little time going over Avon. If we had prepped for them, on the back end, we probably would have played this and this and this a little bit better. Overall, I was happy. But definitely not satisfied. We want to have a great week of practice this week, and we put together a couple, 3 good days of practice, and we get to take the field again on Friday against Bookville, and we have to take steps forward.
Yeah. This may be a weird question and a hard one to answer, but as a coach, you love having quarterbacks with experience. You love having maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 guys back from an offensive line. Was there one that you would rather have that makes it a little bit easier for you to prepare and get ready for games with the experience, or doesn't that matter?
Those are 2 pretty important. I mean, I don't know if you had to pick one. Maybe you go offensive line, because if you're experienced in executing up front, like anybody can hand the ball off, pretty much. And then, when there's not guys in your face, with the pass rush, it makes the quarterback's job a whole lot easier. So I think between the 2, and plus you're talking 5 guys versus 1, but they're both pretty important.
Yeah. Well, if the guys are doing up their job up front, it might not matter who's doing the other stuff, because the holes are going to be there and the lanes are going to be there. That's it'd be great if you could have all of it.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah,
Right?
Yeah. I think we all like that.
Give you a 3-year letter winner on the quarterback and 3-year letter winner at the line all the way. That'd make it nice.
Have you guys been scrimmaging Avon since you got here? Is that something that kind of came about from seeing them in those state semi games?
No. So that scrimmage has been in place since I got here. I believe that Coach Elder is a Mount Union guy, and I think Jason and him started that scrimmage. I think that's how they got started.
I know one thing: they don't want to see Zion Pfeiffer again.
No,
boy, I remember that night up north, man.
He was a son of a gun that
couldn't
night.
stop that man between the tackles.
Yeah, that was tough going up there without Terrence Keys. He had an injury from the previous week, the Hoban game, and got Zion answer the bell.
Yeah,
big time, man. You wait your turn sometimes, and I think that kind of answers the offensive line question. And for me, a guy like, let's say, Andre Jones, a Mike Mercurio. These are guys that have sat behind some pretty good players like Tay and Terrence. What have you seen from some of these young guys that, like Sam's coming back. He kind of leads it in the middle for you, but you're replacing your tackles. Not an easy thing to do.
Yeah. Sam's bumped out. He's playing tackle.
Okay.
He actually played the first 2 games at tackle last year before we moved him into center. And he was I think it's both games, he was our highest rated offensive lineman at tackle.
He's versatile.
Yeah. And so he's been in our right tackle position currently. Marcus Moore is manning our left tackle position. He was mostly a defensive player last year, but played some guard for us. I think he's a more natural tackle. I think it was a good move for him, and he's doing a nice job. And we have a kid named Evan Sturgo who's kind of, can he be good enough to where, he could take plays off of Marcus on the offensive side maybe. It's kind of what he's fighting for, but he's really backing at both tackle positions. And then on the inside, we've got Seth Voschel and Brady Jones both competing at the center position currently. And so some real competition there. I'd say it's pretty much up in the air at this point. Both kids have some things that they do really, really well. And then Mikey Mercurio, he started a couple games for us last year. Rotated a little bit, started a couple games, and he's back. And he's our right guard right now, and he's at a nice camp. And then right now our left guard position is sophomore Mike Looney.
We nicknamed him Looney Tune the other day. JP's got him trademarked as Looney Tunes.
Yeah. He's got a chance to be a special player. He was actually no asterisk. We did have a couple guys out with injury, but he was the super heavyweight champion at our lift-a-thon. He's a really, really strong kid. Comes off the ball well, plays with great technique. We think he's going to be really, really good.
Massillon Tigerhead football coach Nate Moore is our guest here on Stark Media. Sam Berkman and the big former Buckeye and Golden Eagle TJ Downing. Coach, a lot of things have changed in high school as far as rules, camp days, two-a-days, season starts earlier, scrimmages. What's a good blend for you? I mean, I remember when you used to have 3 scrimmages. Now it's 2. Did you like 3? How do you like the way the camp days work? And what's a good setup for you as a coach?
I think 2 scrimmages is right. We did 3 because you're allowed to do 3, and if they said you're allowed to do 4, we probably would have done 4. But I did always feel going into the third scrimmage that like we're ready to go.
Yeah.
And I wish this one counted because it presents risk of injury.
Sure.
For something that doesn't count. And if you feel like you're ready to go, it's kind of like, wish it was week 1. So I think 2 scrimmages is right. I think that setup's right. And I do think that the state did made a good decision in allowing us to acclimate our kids in the second half of July. There's been a couple years where it's been the first day of hitting, 2 days later you scrimmage.
Yeah,
and that's nuts.
Yeah.
And so now, we're able to take those acclimation days in July. I think, my opinion, I think at least so. I think you should be able to do that earlier, and I think acclimation. I don't see much of a difference between wearing helmets and shoulder pads. I think not wearing the shoulder pads. I think there's too much risk of injury. Like in the pros, they wear the pro pads.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really go out there and do almost anything up front. The guys up front without something protecting their shoulders. I would like to see right from the jump the ability, or maybe two days, maybe whenever in the summer in helmets, maybe with the ability to wear some sort of pro pad. I mean, I would want my kid protected.
Sure.
And then go shell, and then maybe instead of 1 day full gear non-contact, maybe there's 4 days full gear non-contact. I mean, I don't know. But I think ideally we're allowed to, if we're going to take the field and we're going to practice, and there's even going to be a risk of contact. There's always the risk, even in a non-contact practice. There's always a risk. Someone slips and falls, and helmet goes into his shoulder. And, I'd want our kids protected.
That's the issue right there.
Right?
As long as if you can keep guys up, you talk about the pros. You don't see a whole lot of guys falling underground. Sometimes we get some younger 15, 16-year-olds out there, and they're like Bambi. They're trying to get their legs underneath them, and they're going down. And, if you don't have those pants, I don't know if do you require your guys to wear knee braces? Kind of leave it up to them.
So basically our top 10 guys have knee braces.
Yeah. Yeah, you can get the same amount of work done in shorts and shoulder pads and helmets as long as you got your guys playing smart. And really, to me, the acclimation part isn't really the hitting. It's learning how to run around with all that gear on for about 2 or 3 hours in the heat.
Yeah.
And to get guys, like you said, I mean, being 38 years old and still being a little bit stupid, I had my 7th annual flag football tournament about a month
You're
ago.
still grousing about that?
And I took
Well,
a shoulder
Yeah.
going down for a ball on the ground where I used to have shoulder pads protecting that. It wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
Man, you take your shoulder right down into the ground, and I don't care what people say about these new field turf surfaces are really soft. You lay down there and just get comfortable.
You get on the wrong angle. It's
You
trouble.
go in the wrong angle, man. Hit that clavicle. You get a little separation, and you're going to be in a world of hurt. And
Yeah.
it costs you months in recovery.
Yeah, no doubt. And I just think I think that is probably outdated. I think you err on the side of safety, and I think the kid should. If we're on the field, I think the kid should pad up.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I would agree. How are you with the way the postseason is working now? Obviously, we had to do things because of COVID. OHSA made some decisions. How are you with that? Would you like to see it maybe go back a little bit to fewer teams? Where do you kind of fall there?
I mean, I think when you water things down and you start giving medals to everybody, things aren't special anymore. I mean, when we, TJ, when you were a player, Sam, when you were a player, when I was in high school, if you made the playoffs, that was a big deal.
That was something.
It was a big deal. It meant something. And when you didn't make it, it hurt, right? But you can't have the good without the bad. Like somebody's got to not make the playoffs. I don't know how you put the toothpaste back in the tube. I doubt that's ever going to happen.
Really? I mean, I think the toothpaste has to get back in the tube. I just think this is. I don't know. I'm not I don't know. I guess I'm just so old school. I don't.
Money.
Yeah.
Things seldom in backtrack like that. But the funny thing is that they surveyed our coaches association, the Ohio High School Football Coaches Association, and presented 3 options, and one was stay the same at 8. One was 12 with the top 4s with a bye, and the third option was 16. And I thought if you really look at it, there are a couple teams that you could say maybe. I think 8 basically covered everybody, but there's going to be a couple outliers.
Sure.
If we're going to make a move, then 12 makes a lot more sense than 16. I think if you give the top 4 teams a bye, that's a reward. There's a real reward for being the top team. And then 5 plays 12, which most likely produce better matchups.
Yeah, I 100% agree there.
So I thought that one made some amount of sense. And the 16 team no buys, 1 plays 16. I thought that made absolutely no sense.
You're sending a squad out for slaughter.
We saw it.
Come on, I'm a former Glen Oak Golden Eagle. There's no reason a Glen Oak team with 1 or 2 wins should be going up to play Lakewood St. Ed's.
Right.
It's going to be a bad outcome.
Right.
And kids could get hurt.
Right.
You know?
And the word you get is that it's for the kids, it's for the community, and
the spin doctors at work down there in Columbus sometimes.
It just doesn't jive.
Yeah.
But our coaches association voted for the 12-team setup. And so I think my assumption, probably most of the coaches' assumption was that's what they were going to go with, and it was a real shock.
I wasn't aware of that.
They did not go with our recommendation.
Hey, he always brings Stark Media exclusives, man.
That's right.
That's what we love about
That's
this
right.
guy. Yeah, and I'll tell you from my playing experience in high school, my junior year, we were lucky enough to win in week 10 over in Perry, and we jumped into the 7th spot to make it. My senior year, we got beat by Perry and Fawcett, and we were outside looking in. So to fall at number 9 your senior year, you look back at that. I mean, I still think about it to this day. It sucks. But like you said, can't give medals out to everybody. We didn't deserve it being 5-5.
Yeah.
500 doesn't cut it.
Yeah. Right. A similar experience.
Yeah. Coach, we always appreciate the time and the visits. We'll see you.
Okay.
We'll see you for Mighty Mo coming
Right
up.
on.
There you go.
Thanks, guys. Go Tigers.
Head coach of the Massillon Tigers, Nate Moore. And we always get a couple of good nuggets I wasn't aware that. I didn't know that coach's vote went that way.
Yep.
And then the OHSA just kind of went right over top of them. It's kind of like the Deshaun Watson thing. You bring somebody in to make a decision. Now we're gonna do this. So that's that. And
Seems
I
a little
agree.
goofy, you know.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Coach on that. I mean, again, I hate to keep sounding like the grumpy old dude. I'm old, but I'm not that old. I mean, compared to you, I am a little bit. But damn it, you go from 2 to 4 to 8 to I just don't see. And I bet you, if you got and we may have the opportunity, who knows, get these coaches just one-on-one. Maybe even talk to some of the parents, some assistant coaches, or people in the different communities. I would be willing to bet that it just doesn't feel as special as it used to when you had to earn your way in. Trucker.
My man, One Take Truck, we're ready for you, man, whenever you are.
What, you good?
Whenever you're ready, man. You know, we can't let you get too far. You're a popular guy in the room, man. We let you get away, man. You might not surface. We'll be here the whole time.
Yeah. We're staying. Coach Lindesmith just asked me a question that I thought I would never hear. He said, "You ain't staying to eat? Are you out of your mind?"
Hey, it's a buffet, isn't
this
it?
is all I had. I'm ready to get over.
You're ready to go.
I'm ready to go. Coach Lindesmith of the Crusaders joining us here on Stark Media. Sammy and TJ here for the 2022 high school football preview show at St. Haralambos Church. All right, I'm excited to come over Thursday, 10 a.m. Little scrimmage action. Get down there on the field and take a look and see what we got. How was things against Canton South, and how you feeling about camp so far?
Hey, so far, Canton South scrimmage was good. We did what we wanted to do. Obviously, the first scrimmage, we want to do some vanilla things when it comes to offensively, and we did those. We really focused on our offensive line, our defensive line, our physicality. We thought we should improve from last year. So we did some base things and worked on some things. Obviously, everybody knows about our quarterback and what he does, but we just kind of kept him under wraps and try to find some blocking schemes that our kids got good at. Defensively, see if we ran to the ball and pursued the football. And so it went well. We were happy with it.
I know TJ was out there shooting some video, and I watched. I saw a couple big kids on the offensive line moving some guys around. And how do you strike that balance nowadays with, you got a very special young man under center. I'm not saying complete bubble wrap like they do in the pros, but you got to be careful. Where do you strike that balance of good, hard practices, discipline, sweating a little bit, getting after it, and, hey, guys, we hope to have a very long season. Let's go baby steps. How do you strike that balance?
Yeah, you know what? Last year, I think we might have had maybe too many baby steps at times. And one thing about Jack Talkington is he's a Division I linebacker too.
Yeah.
And he's one heck of a linebacker, one of the best I've coached in a long, long time. And Griffin Baumel went to the Naval Academy, and he does some things that like Griffin Baumel used to do. So
that's high praise right there.
Yeah, He's awfully good.
Led you guys to a state championship.
Yeah, and he plays a lot of defense. So I'm kind of crazy that way, where you think that prima donna, that quarterback, you want to protect at times.
Yeah.
But we try to be smart with him throughout practice. But I told him last week he wasn't allowed to run the ball, and he knew it was our last play, and off he did. He pulled it, and off he went. And,
I like it.
So he did get one run in, and he knew it was coming after him. And I was down the sidelines, and he was stood up and just kept smiling. He goes, "My day's over," and the coach. And I go, "Yes, it is." So it was kind of fun, but he's a big physical kid that it's got to get used to it, because we've got to play the linebacker to be that skilled. But you're right. There's our times where we want to make sure that our kids are all pretty smart out there. They're disciplined enough to know when we're working certain things like veers and reads and power reads that we do with him. That first of all, it's hard enough for our younger kids to tackle him. And secondly, if they do try to tackle him, that 220 pounds doesn't feel very good on a young kid trying to tackle him. So they're pretty smart. And Jack's such a smart football player that he takes care of those guys in practice.
Now, he's committed to Marshall.
He has not. He is a preferred walk-on right now at Marshall.
Okay.
He's got a couple other offers. All the D2 schools around. Robert Morris. He's been to Akron. He's been to Kent. And they're just kind of waiting to see. everything that they have to offer. But he's traveled most of the summer and the spring at different places, and yeah, you're right. He's a special talent.
Strong senior year, I think. He's he's a Division I talent in my book. I mean, from what I've gotten a chance to see from him, I think he had as much right to be named Stark County Player of the Year as an Austin Brawley did for Massillon last year. I think they were on the same level. It's, to me, there's a respect factor when you got a guy who can chuck it around the yard, lead your offense, and then go over there and get over 100 tackles. I mean, you probably haven't coached a whole lot of guys that can do that, right?
Right. And the only guy I can remember doing that is our 1988 state championship, Sammy's boys. And, we had Jeff Turner played quarterback in the Veer offense, and then went out and played Sam Backer, and then eventually went to Kent State on a scholarship to play outside back or defensive end for him. And he's about the only one that is really pushing. Jake McCuddy, back in the day at 14, that every once in a while our defensive guys would sneak him in at safety and corner because he was so good. But
my boy Vince G, he wasn't walking down in the box, was he?
No, Vinny G would do that too. And Vince was the same one. Every once in a while you had to throw those guys out there, but they probably won't play as many. Vince played a lot of safety for us.
Yeah.
But,
what a stud.
We try to keep him high, maybe in the field, and take some big plays away because he was so athletic. And Picotti was the same way, but the physical battles that Jack would have would be pretty similar to Jeff Turner and what he did.
Yeah. How nice is it? And I know, it doesn't happen often at a lot of schools to get the Jeff Turners, the Jack Talkingtons, the guys that are, you're in that 6'3", 6'4" range, 230, 240. You'll want to give them a break, but you can't because they're so good and they don't want to sit anyway.
Yeah.
But it's great to have guys like that. You wish you probably had more to make it easier on you. But what do guys like that mean to your program yesterday, today, and tomorrow?
You're right. It means so much to your program. Just first of all, those guys, and you mentioned some of those names, are great leaders. They've learned from some great people how important it is to prepare their bodies, prepare during practice, how to practice to get their bodies ready. You look back.
There's an art to that.
Yeah, there's back in the days where those guys don't take plays off. They don't rest. Jack gets mad when I take him out of practice.
Sure.
He takes him out of plays. And, our linebackers coach, Bo Lindesmith over there, that, he'd like to play him all the time.
That Bo Lindesmith, man.
He tries to jump, and he understands that he may have to come out on defense a little bit. And you're right. We don't get a ton of those athletes. But you still got to be smart,
man.
too.
You got to cherish them.
You got to ride them a little bit, and
sure.
like we do with our schedules and the number of kids we have that can play that schedule. We have 50 kids out, which is great. It's a large number.
Nice.
And it's nice. It's a couple years in a row of 50, and we have a large sophomore class that has some size to it that helps practice. They've went through a few battles, so that's nice that way. But we're getting some guys ready. Obviously, they're not going to be the level of Jack at linebacker, or so. We'll have to be smart that way.
Let's talk about riding the ponies, man.
Let's go. The big dogs, my boys.
Yes, let's go, man. I'll tell you what. First of all, I didn't get a chance to thank you the other day for when I did come out there and you gave me full access, but it was so cool. One of you guys came over there as I walked down onto the field, and he said, "Mr. Downing, I'd just like to shake your hand and welcome you to come out and join us in the huddle." And I said, "You know what? That right there is good stuff. You don't get that everywhere." And then afterwards, as I'm sitting out there in that huddle, and I saw you kind of working some of your offensive stuff, working your double team, and you got the big fella, Bobby Belden Jr. down there, rocking at the right guard spot. And, you guys were working on him on a couple things. And working double teams, it's hard sometimes because there's a science and there's a craft behind it. And I didn't realize it when I was a young kid in high school, but you learn it when you get into college. So I pulled young Bobby over the side. I said, "Listen, man, you need to focus on that inside hand of the defensive tackle." I said, if you stop that hand and you push it back into his body and you're ready for that tackle to push him across your face, and then you get under the chin strap and you bury him. Right? So you guys ran it again, got him back up there. He did it. He came back there and he said, "Mr. Downing, thank you for that."
There you go.
It worked. I said, "You know what?
There you
go, man.
There you go.
Spread the good word out there.
Yes. Hey, you got guys with wisdom like teach. You got to make sure you bring them out there and
Young
do it.
Stangle.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a big fella, man. He's only going to be a sophomore.
Yeah. And he's a kid a lot of schools have looked at already just because of that size.
Can't
plays
teach that.
basketball, 6'7", about 290, just a skosh under 290. And you saw him in person. He's not a thick kid. He's thinned, and it's going to get really big. He's got good feet. Just learns how to play physical and at certain pad levels he's got to get to. I think it's always that way with big young offensive linemen. getting them to bend the right way, getting those
6'7".
knees bent. But yeah,
That's a horse.
he's going to cover. But you'll see him if he walks out in shorts and a t-shirt. You're going to say that's a big kid, but
Yeah.
he's not a wide kid, real. And
He may
works
be a
hard.
horse by senior year. We're gonna put him in the Miller Davies category
He
right
could
now.
be. Yeah, there you go.
There you
He's
go.
in the pony
He's in the
category.
pony
We're still
right now.
feeding him a little hay.
That's right. Exactly right. But hey, he's a kid that obviously it's going to be important. We played him as a freshman. We knew what kind of development he needed.
Good. That's
And
awesome.
he's number 1 in his class. He's a 4.5 student. Just an incredible young man that we have. And you mentioned our offensive line. You know, TJ Perkins is a kid that won't stand out, but he's probably about 5'9", about 220, weight room junkie. Plays defense, plays offense for the last 2 years. And I think he's just the glue of our team just because of his effort in practice. There's always one guy that we got to calm down just a little bit because his motor runs too fast. You know what I mean? You might be in shorts and T-shirts, but his motor's flying. And he's one of those kids that you just love. And he's a kid that's got a lot of experience. And, you know, we got wore out a little bit last year when it got to the playoffs. And TJ was battling every inside. And, you know, we go back and then analyze some things we did during the year. And, I mean, he was a holy terror for about 4 or 5 weeks. And then all of a sudden that grind got to him.
Yeah, hit the wall.
He lost a little bit of weight. And so, you know, those are some things that we've tried to make sure we're ready for this year.
Guys gravitate to that energy, man.
Yeah. You
better believe
you need guys like that too. If you got to calm down, that's okay. We need guys like that. As a head coach, what position gives you maybe the most satisfaction, most pride of watching them grow from freshmen to seniors, and how you take them upon yourself to get these guys and coach them up and get them through? Is it the skilled kid? Is it the big 6'7", 300-pound lineman? How's that work for you?
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm always been an offensive lineman. I coached the line for a long, long time. I think that sometimes I shouldn't be watching them because I have some good line coaches, but my eyes obviously gravitate to that area.
Yeah.
I think that probably gives me a lot of joy. I mean, as a head coach, you know, I try to analyze everybody. I coach a lot in the secondary now where I've seen young kids develop into outstanding safeties and corners. That's a big thing. Sam, that's a tough question because I'm on every line. I'm probably too nosy. I'm on every spot, every position. Sure. And I get after them a little bit. But, you know, I would think as a team would grow together is probably the proudest thing.
Yeah.
Well, I can see them protecting one another, taking care of one another. You know, I always harp about you're accountable to your teammates way more than you're accountable to coaches. And coaches are going to coach you hard, but you can't let your guy to the right or left of you down. Yep. And as soon as they start getting that, it's
light goes on.
Oh my, it's so fun to watch.
Yep.
And you don't get that some years.
No.
You just don't get it. And
you think it's coming, but it never does.
It never does. And this is this time, you know, this generation, you got to keep teaching that. And, you know, you can post things individually. You got coaches calling. You got people coming in and out, you know, and it's easy to become an individual and worry about yourselves. And we really harp against that as much as we can because, you know, I tell them about old teams and friends. And, you know, TJ came down, but if you walk down to practice or Jeff Turner comes down to practice or whoever, I stop practice and explain to him who this guy is. And I told him a little bit about TJ when we talked that, you know, these guys are still friends with all their guys in high school.
Yeah.
It's not just the senior class. They were juniors. They were sophomores. And you have great teams and you have great memories when they're together.
It sounds like, I know we're not that deep, it sounds like you got a really coachable group this year. Would that make sound? Or you're getting there?
We're getting there. We have a lot, you know, we have 14 seniors and we probably have about 19 Letterman back that been through some battles. So they kind of know what's going on. They're pretty coachable kids. They're fun to be around.
Keep you young.
Yeah, they do. Not my knees young, but they keep me young. That's what
you
know, a lot of knee stories from coaches tonight so far.
You know where that accountability showed its hands in spades? Was down there in the horseshoe in that last drive. Jack Murphy, T. Roop, guys like that.
Yeah.
You know, not letting their teammates down.
You're right. And you know
that's how you win state championships.
That same play that, you know, you have Jarrett Cummings, that's kind of an unsung hero, and everybody talks about the pictures, and he gets 2 blocks downfield.
Yeah. My guy 59. Who's my guy 59?
Yeah, that's right, Ben Wills.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey, but you know, guys like that, and it just, you're right. You know, who goes downfield and gets 2 blocks?
Yep.
He wanted to. You know, you got people. You know, we bad snap, and you got the big pony going back and covering up.
Yep.
And it gets us another possession. But there's a lot of things like that, and I just think that's important. Just because I know as an older coach, They've been around so many great programs.
Mhm.
What a great team and the teammates you'll have forever. And that's really what I want.
Right. Before we let you go, another challenging schedule. I think 4 and 6 this year, home to away.
Yeah,
So
4 and 6.
That's a battle,
tough.
but you'll be ready to roll. I'm not going to ask you the biggest key. I hate that question to start the season. I know coaches hate it too. But as far as progress, what do you want to see, say, first 4 weeks? Because season's so long now.
Yep.
You can go in increments. What are you looking for?
Yeah, I think our main focus was physicality this year. We want to run the ball a little bit more inside than we have in the past. Our quarterback has the ability to run it inside, but I think we have a couple other people that can do that. I think that just helps. The run game will help our offense as the year goes on, and where we run it is important. And I think that's really what our main focus has been through July. We thought we'd have some skill kids on the outside. We thought we could stretch people horizontally, but every once in a while it's nice to control the clock and maybe have that 6-7 minute drive where you can wear somebody out a little bit that we haven't had at times. And I think hopefully that'll be that way. I think that'll be a key, and hopefully within a few weeks we'll be good at that. And that's what we've been working on.
We still running 16 B gap at power.
You better believe it.
That's
You better
a
be
staple.
running 16,
That's a
still
staple
running
right
a little
there.
24 and 25 with
All
some
right.
beer. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Still
Awesome.
getting it, buddy.
All right, Coach has a nice big plate of hot food. We're going to let him go.
I can't believe that's right in front of you, too. What is wrong
It's
with
killing
my
me.
wife, Carla? It's just
Carla.
killing these two
Killing
big
her.
dogs. Easy.
Unbelievable.
Hey, thanks for
Hey,
having me, guys.
We'll
I'll
see you
you
over
around.
Perry.
Appreciate you, brother.
There he goes. Trucker, Jeff Lindesmith, getting ready to dive in. Oh, look at that. Oh, I'm glad you told me that. I had to come over to school. Thank you. All right, I gave some bad information there. Central Catholic at Hillsdale tomorrow at 10 a.m. for the scrimmage. That will not be at Central tomorrow. All right, we are rolling on. How we doing, everybody? Sam Berkwood here. My partner, TJ Downing. Little spitballing with Sammy B here on Stark Media. Don't forget when you get a chance to follow us, share, like us on the YouTube channel, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, Stark Media Team. That's all you need to know. So we are going to continue, and the big offensive tackle has brought a couple of more coaches over, and we're going to chop it up here and talk some football. Who do we got?
You know, I'm a military guy, man, so I do a little reconnaissance here, and I see that Hoover and Alliance are going to be scrimmaging tomorrow night. Why not be joined by Coach Goodman and Coach Baum?
Let's do it. Let's do it. Guys, thanks for coming over. We appreciate it. Summer comes and goes, doesn't it? And here we are. About what point in maybe early July, middle July, maybe before that, do you guys that blood starts getting a little bit warm for the pigskin?
Right after the 4th of July. For us, it's right after the 4th,
Yeah. Same after the 4th, you feel that, hey, it's starting time putting in schemes, start to talk actually doing football stuff, and the season's right around the corner because, like you said, it comes and goes.
It does. It comes here and it's boom. It's here we are. We're ready to play some football and scrimmages, and we'll go with Coach Baum and then Coach Goodman in that era. We're still fairly young into camp, but holy crap, we've got one more scrimmage and we're ready to play next week. Progress for the Vikings and for the Aviators. Coach Baum, we'll go with you.
Yeah, this is about growth for us this year. As we don't return a lot of starters, so we got to have guys step up. We got a lot of seniors, so they're not young. It's just they don't have the experience that you look for going in there. And we've got to take each scrimmage and we got to treat it like a game out there for Alliance. And I don't care who's on the field; they've got to play like the varsity football game to show that they can do it for week 1, week 2, and then to get into the Federal League from there. So we've got to see growth over the course of this year.
Yeah, we're on the flip side of that. We're kind of where last year where he's at now. We were really young last year. We got a lot of guys back. We got 9 back on offense, 7 back on defense. So we're much further ahead where we were last year, and we're going to try and continue where we left off week 10 last year to good showing week 10 and try and keep that momentum going as we head into week 1.
Coach Baum, you were for your tenure now at North Canton, you've been able to put your stamp on the program, and it led you to winning an outright Federal League championship last year. You've been with the program now 2 years, I believe, as HC. What are some things that you've tried to bring in and say, listen, guys, these are going to be the staples of how I'm going to run this program, how our coaches are going to coach you up. These are things that we need to do to be successful and win a league championship.
Yeah, that's, I was very fortunate in my time in Hoover. I spent, first started with Donnie Hurler and then Coach Baum, and, got to learn a lot of different things from those two guys and just taking a little bit from each one and then kind of put my own spin on thing. And,
you kind of have to address first your standards of the program and make sure that your standards are being met every single day. And I think if you consistently achieve those things, you're kind of putting yourself in the right direction.
Being 8 years now, you've seen some things come up, change over in staff. And the key is identity. Coach Goodman and I spent a lot of time together. We were always talking about those things. And, that's why it's exciting to see him as a head coach and those things. But for us, it's about the identity that we want to portray out there and, our values. And we talk about that a lot as a program. And, it goes back to the stuff that we wanted to establish when, he was a young OC and I was first taken over there. And it does take time. And when we talk on the phone, I'm like, hey, just baby steps. You remember how it is. And, things do progress and it gets better. And people know you understand what you're trying to get accomplished. And then that's when all of a sudden the younger kids are coming up through. They expect to be like that now because they see the guys ahead of them.
I know coaches don't like to look back because it's full steam ahead. But how doggone special of a year was that for you guys last year?
It was a lot of fun. And, it was the way it happened, nothing could have been worse than week 3, the way I felt there on the field. I was hurt. We just dropped a touchdown in the end zone to win the game, and we obviously lost that game. And I felt devastated in the way that our guys responded and then just continued to grow. And they were doing it shorthanded last year. We had a running game, and we had a defense and good special teams. And they were able to win the Federal League doing just those things there. And, that's why this year it's so important to develop passing game, and we're seeing our entire team develop.
Yeah. Coach G, for you at Alliance, where are your numbers at right now? Would you like? You always want more numbers, I guess. But where are you numbers wise, and are you getting the most out of guys, even if they got to go both ways? And how are you trying to get through those waters early?
Yeah, that's our numbers have grown a little bit. We're up to about 72, 9 through 12.
Okay.
We have a big freshman class. We're going to have a freshman team this year, which Alliance hasn't had in a long time. So numbers are growing. We're excited about that. But it goes back to what you said, at Hoover, we're very fortunate to have, some one-way players. When you move down to Division III level, you got to get guys ready to go a couple, both ways. And that was something our guys felt after that Jackson scrimmage. Hey, we got to get in shape.
Yeah.
So we've owned that this week. We've done some extra conditioning. The guys have been very receptive of it. We're getting ready for week 1 and playing 4 quarters of football.
All right, we'll give them the question that we gave Coach Moore. I believe it was, would you rather have your backfield coming back, or would you rather have the big horses up front coming back? And I know for you, you've got some guys that you've got to replace, but you got your quarterback coming back. You've got a great one coming back, and Brendan Zerbrug. You got Kaden Davis. I've been following Carter Lewis on Twitter. He's a big, strong fella. If you had to lean one direction or the other, knowing all that you've seen through the years coaching football, would you rather have your starting offensive line back, or would you rather have your quarterback, running back, tight end, fullback, kind of your backfield setup?
I'll go for
Go ahead.
That's a tough question. Just like you, TJ. I'm an O-lineman at heart, so I'm going O-line all the way. And I think Coach Baum saw that last year, and I knew that was going to be the case because I coached that O-line, and he had a lot of those guys back. And, it kind of led the way to their Federal League title, and that's what we're excited about at Alliance this year. We got 3 of our 5 back, and we got 1 young guy we're really excited about, and I think that's going to make the difference for guys like Brendan Zerbrug and Kaden Davis as we enter the season.
Yeah, no. And there's different spins on those things because you can do more when your quarterback has experience and your running backs. But that O-line protecting, giving time for a younger quarterback to develop, or just finding gaps for a young guy, that is very important. The O-line's where everything is in football.
You've had a couple guys that graduated from last year's team. So your progress, your thoughts through the first couple practices, going through the first 2 weeks of two-a-days, where your offense and defensive lines are at. I mean, guys, I'm talking about offensive line, and you're thinking about replacing Drew Logan and Mike Shimmick, and it's like, okay, there's about 25 sacks between those two guys.
Yeah, they were phenomenal last year. We've got a nice defensive front back. My linebackers are back, so that helps the defensive line. Brady Sullivan's back on the D-line. He is an absolute animal. Hudson Linton, Brendan Guzman are doing nice jobs. We're rotating some guys at tackle. And then on the offensive side of the ball, we return Brad Cormanic. So there's a bunch of new faces there, but each and every practice and every rep is so important. They're going to make mistakes. Let's get it done now. Learn from that. Not continue to make those mistakes. And let's get ready for week 1. And that's why this alliance scrimmage is so important for us to just get better.
All right, before we let coaches go, we'll start with Coach Baum and Coach Goodman. Funnest thing you did this summer, what was it?
honestly, it's corny, but hanging out with my family, because we as coaches, we just don't get enough time of that.
Yeah. We took our 2-year-old daughter to Disney World, so seeing her reaction at Disney World was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
That's
you
good
can't put a
stuff.
price on that.
No.
All right, well, guys, thank you so much. Have a hell of a year. Stay healthy, and we'll be around.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
There you go, Coach Baum and Coach Goodman from Hoover and Alliance. And we certainly appreciate the coaches coming over here. Mr. Peter Michaelis is up at the podium. We're gonna get Jay in here real quick.
Oh yeah.
All right.
My old nemesis. You got to get him on here, man. I don't care who's talking up there.
It's so quiet, but Captain Jay's in the house. He's got the headset on. Coach, how you doing, bud?
Good. How are you guys?
We're good. Congratulations on everything. Been a whirlwind for you, but you're ready to roll. How you feeling? And forget about expectations and things like that. Where are you at with your guys, your team, your program? You're taking your small steps right now. How you doing with that?
Yeah, doing really well. Again, just going back to when we first got started in January, we had a great winter and great spring, which led into the summer. And kids are working hard. They're being coachable. They're listening, and that's all we can ask of them. So really, things are going well.
Yeah, we've been kind of throwing it back with some of the different coaches that, what group would you rather have back? Would you rather have your horses up front back? Would you rather have your backfield back? Obviously, big question mark for Jackson football is, the quarterback position. I know a lot of talk has been maybe moving Ethan Lesko out of the tight end spot back there. I know you got some other kids on the team. How's the quarterback position looking right now through camp?
Yeah, just going back to what you first started with, you're certainly right, TJ, knowing that you were a lineman. I want the horses. I want the horses up front. You win games in the trenches. But in regards to that, we have a close quarterback battle with Ethan Lesko and Joe Latarullo, Ethan being the senior and Joe being a junior. Both are doing a tremendous job, and they understand the concept of the competition battle that's going on. And right now, we let them compete in the Alliance scrimmage from last Friday, and a lot will be the tall tale going into the Walsh scrimmage, where they'll have a little bit even reps. I guess I should say they'll have even reps, and then obviously coming out of that, we'll have a true commander and leader of our offense.
Coach Jay Rohr is joining us from Jackson. We've had, 7, 8 coaches on, and I've asked them all about the numbers. And it seems like maybe it's just a couple, but everybody's up a little bit as far as participation, and guys are going out. How about Jackson? Where are you sitting there 9 through 12?
Yeah, very pleased. In 9 through 12, we're at 148 kids.
Holy.
Nice.
So we,
wow, okay.
10 through 12, we're at about 104. So we have tremendous numbers.
Nice.
But we all know, too, there's only 11 on the field at the same time. So numbers are great. We need guys to go and compete and obviously play well. So, can't argue with numbers.
Wow, that's
strong.
You got enough assistants to handle 104 guys out there?
I've been blessed to bring in a few.
Very good. Starting off with Akron East and moving through the rest of the non-conference and going into the Federal League, have you put like little pinpoints on games or weeks or times in the year, little progress points that where you want to be, and how's that work out?
Not necessarily progress points. I think the focus is each week, our goal is ultimately continue to get better. From week one, again, we bring back a large nucleus up front. But I think from our skill positions and again, TJ, with going back to what you said, a quarterback that didn't get a lot of playing time last year. So it's just making the steps on a week by week basis. My main focus, and I've instilled that in our coaching staff and our players, it's about us. It's not necessarily our opponents. It's us. And are we going to continue to get better and again, keep the discipline and the hard work and so forth.
Yeah, I thought the interesting thing everybody kind of saw when Marcus Freeman was given the job up there at Notre Dame and the response from the players. I think there was kind of that same feel from some of your guys when you were introduced as the head coach. The guys rallied around you. You'd been coaching on the defensive side of the ball for a long enough time that everybody in the program knew you. All your guys knew you. But to know that you're going to be the head guy in charge, these guys have really kind of have rallied around and understood what you mean to the program. I know what you mean to the program because I tried to stop you when you were in the program, and it wasn't easy. It didn't work out in our favor too much. But, we talked with Trucker Lindesmith about two-way guys. He's got a quarterback, linebacker that can go both ways, get you 100 tackles, maybe throw for over, a G or two and run for over a G or two. You were a guy that did that. You ran for a ton, and you went over and had a bunch of tackles. And I look at a guy like maybe a Colton Arnold for you, who's probably going to be counted on to do it on the defensive line and the offensive line. Is as Dan Michaels is waving you off, man. What a great job and a legend. Shout out to his career.
Absolutely legend.
And you know, I'm sure sad to see him go, but I'm sure he'll still be around. Are there any other guys on your team right now that you say, okay, this is a guy that's probably going to contribute and go both ways and not a whole lot of people know about, and may surprise some people from the Jackson Polar Bears?
Yeah. You know, again, I was able to do that. I got great coaches and great players. And I think I think a lot of people are seeing the new logo, which is an old school logo from when I played. And kind of some old school philosophies coming back. And that's just it. There's going to be some guys playing on both sides of the ball. You know, Colton Arnold is definitely going to be one of those guys.
Yeah.
Jaden Mauser, he was a DN last year. You know, with Colton being named captain, but Jaden Mauser, he was named captain. He's going to be on both sides of the ball. He didn't play a lot on offense, but again, he's a guy that's physical, loves physical contact, and so we're going to see him on both sides. A new guy coming over is Kaden Edwards. He's technically a Jackson guy, but unfortunately, due to some circumstances, you know, went to Massillon and came back. He's going to be a two-way guy for us as well. So we have some guys that are definitely understand, you know, where I stand as far as my philosophy goes, that are going to be two-way players and have that grit and that competitive nature that are going to go and do that.
Speaking of Coach Moore, we had him on a couple of coaches ago, and I asked him about how do you sit with a lot of the rules now that you guys have to go with the OHSCA, with how many scrimmages you have, the camp days, different things like that. And I said, are you good with 2 scrimmages? He says, yeah, but if they let us do 3 or 4, we'd probably take them too. Is 2 a good number for Coach Rohr? Would you like a 3rd? Is that too much? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm okay with 2. And I only say that, you know, do I think we should have maybe a few more practices between now and then, especially when the acclimation period technically started? There's no question. And again, when you think about or at least I think about when we played, you know, you're 16 to 22 a days. Well, you're getting 4 and you're going straight into a scrimmage. So do I think, you know, I think it would be a little bit nicer to have a few more practices and make sure your kids are properly prepared and so forth. But yeah, 2 or 3. The 3rd scrimmage wouldn't be a bad thing, but, you know, again, nothing against 2.
Yeah. Does that change anything? The fact that the less practices and just, you know, taking your baby steps out there, does that change the way you go about your scrimmages? Are they a little bit more physical for you, or?
Yeah, it does. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, you got to find players who are going to contribute on Friday nights. And that's something that we took into consideration in our first scrimmage against the Lions. We actually, as a coaching staff, wore our headsets. We did a lot of the calling from the sidelines, signaled things in and so forth. So, yeah, I mean, making sure that players are in shape, that they have the ability to, again, potentially be two-way players. So we challenge them in that aspect in regards to the scrimmage. So absolutely, you got to look at things a little different when it comes to that.
We had a chance to talk about the O-line. We had a chance to talk about your quarterback position. Another one you really circle is the wide receiver room. I mean, guys like Matt Kistler are gone. Jake Fisher, we might talk about a two-way guy. I mean, did it for you over at safety and was able to line up a wide receiver, bring you guys some good plays. Phillips is back this year. Was it Connor Phillips?
Colin Phillips. Unfortunately, no, he graduated as well.
Okay. Now you got Dane McCready's. He kind of leads the group now, right?
Yeah.
Who are some other skill guys that have really kind of stepped to the forefront?
Yeah, and that's where again, guys are competing. But right now we got 5 or 6 guys that I think can certainly do the job. Dane McCready's is right now leading the way. Kyle Andrews is a junior multi-sport athlete that's doing a tremendous job right now. Kyle Benson is a tremendous athlete, multi-sport athlete that's doing a great job at the receiver position. Luke Johnson, he's a new guy coming out. He came out a year ago, but again, stepped away, focused on lacrosse a little bit, but he's back out for football and doing a great job. And then again, the blessing is when I talk to you guys about our numbers, Nick Zito is a baseball guy that's out, tremendous athlete. He's going to contribute at the receiver and secondary position. And we have a sophomore that did a great job and again showcased his ability in that line scrimmage, caught our touchdown pass. He's a sophomore that moved in, and he's doing a great job.
The scrimmage with Walsh coming up, they fell on some hard times. Now they're rocking and rolling now, always very physical. What are you looking for out of your guys against Walsh?
Right now, again, like I said, we look at, how can we continue to improve? And the 2 biggest things I think you go into scrimmages, your attitude and your effort. Are you going to be physical? Are you going to do the little things? Are you going to stay disciplined? So can we match physicality, if not be more physical than Walsh? And like you said, it is a great challenge. We love having the opportunity to go against Walsh and seeing where we stand. And so, we look forward to that challenge.
I kind of took some of your defensive coaching stuff from last year, and I used it with my daughter as I was trying to get her. I was trying to teach her some lessons, and I was following it up with, "Is that understood?"
Yes.
Because I know you tell your guys, "Is that understood?" And I know that these guys understand what they have here with you, and I'm looking for some big things. We're going to be out there to cover you guys next week, Friday, taking on Akron East. I know you're looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. We have high expectations of our coaching staff and of ourselves, so we're looking forward to a tremendous season. So appreciate you guys.
Good to see you. Jay Rohr, the new head football coach of the Jackson Bears, against that old school polar bear rocking now, and they're ready to roll here in purple in 2022. We continue our live coverage here on Stark Media. Sam Berkwood and TJ Downing here on Stark Media. Don't forget, give us a follow on Twitter, on Instagram, on our YouTube channel, on Facebook. It's all out there for you. Stark Media Team. Check it out. We got a lot of great things going on. We got a brand new partnership with our friends at iHeartRadio. We'll be telling you all about that for the high school football season, the high school basketball season, and we are really looking forward to it. We appreciate all the coaches coming over. Want to shout out the Spirit of Stark, our good friends here at the St. Haralambos Greek Orthodox Church and Krassas Event Center. Simon Says promotions featuring the Tiger Store at 59 Lincoln Way East in downtown, right next door to Stark Media. Hitchman's Fresh Market in Minerva and Massillon, and of course, C.H. Vallis and Associates, mainstays in the city of North Canton on Main Street for the last 75 years. Contact them today, 330-494-2776 for your home, life, and auto insurance needs.
Yeah, I'm going to echo something off of, I believe it was Coach Dan DeGeorge from Lake that joined us, one of the first coaches that jumped on with us. And, you know, we are certainly fortunate around this area to have some high quality coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell that just from the conversations,
Yep.
whether it's from the smaller schools, the philosophies that Coach
Yep.
Spider Miller brings, says, "Hey, listen, I'm going to coach you like a Division I guy, even though we're Division VII." From the way that Coach Trucker over at Central Catholic runs his program, he's not afraid to go out and play anybody.
Nope.
Schedule's
Anywhere,
brutal.
anytime. We'll play in the parking lot.
6
if you wanna
road
play in the
games. Let's
parking
go
lot.
do it. And even from bringing back a guy like Jay, I've told people all the time, the toughest competitor I ever went against in high school football, and boy, they got a guy that brings a lot of passion to the game of football there, and I think the same can be said for Coach Goodman. One of the first conversations I really had to really have with him. Seems like he gets it. He knows what's going on and believes in the O-line, just like Coach Baum does. You got to have the horses up front. Some really high elite coaches around us, not just Stark County, but Northeast Ohio, man.
There's something to be said for that, and that's why this area, this county has been so special, not just over the years, but the decades. You talk about coaches and the pride that they take and the passion, which kind of drips on down to the kids, and they spread it to their families and the community and the businesses. And, we're very fortunate to just play a small little piece of this puzzle, but I know you enjoyed the hell out of your days playing at high school and, of course, at Ohio State and getting a little taster in the NFL. This is what it's all about, and I don't care if you're 18 or 88. This is what it is. This is what we do. This is who we are.
This is that time of year right now, too, knowing that you're about a week away from game time. You start popping in the old Rocky 3 and Rocky 4 tapes, just getting your mind in the right place, because the one thing is, as athletes, as competitors, whether you stepped on the diamond or the hardwood or you step out there in between those white lines on that turf, you always kind of wonder what that first little punch is going to be like.
Oh, yeah.
How that guy is going to walk you down into the box and put an elbow on you, or what it's going to be like coming off that line of scrimmage. And it's an anxious time, but boy, no better way to kick off high school football than this coach's preview here at St. Haralambos and being a week out. I know that everybody in here is pretty excited. I think, probably time for us to take a break and enjoy some of that chow here. Coach Lindesmith kind of teased us a little bit, man.
I don't know if there's anything left over there. So what I did was I might make an improvise, and I might just hit the cookie table over there, because that's how hungry I am right now. Peter Michael Skin is up at the stage. He's kind of the MC of this great event, and of course all the coaches will be coming up and talking about their teams and the numbers they've got out, the scrimmages and the games and everything coming up. Pat
Legend.
Patton is here.
Legend.
I mean, I think we can do everything now. Pat's here.
I mean, how have we not interviewed that guy yet?
Might have to. Well, we'll see.
We don't have 5 hours.
No, we don't.
This is not a 5-hour show.
No, we certainly do not.